Hey y'all, this is Dina. Welcome to my channel. Okay, I am back with idea number 11 in my All Things Christmas and Holiday series. And what I'm going to do is make Christmas pillowcases for my grandkids. I thought that they would like to have a Christmas pillowcase. I've made these before, and actually one of my grandsons, he still sleeps with his pillowcase. He still loves it. So anyway, I thought I would make Christmas ones for them and give it to them as, you know, the next time I see them, as soon as I have them all done. But anyway, yeah, these are super easy. We're going to do hidden seams and French seams on this. Sounds kind of silly and crazy and scary, but it's not. It's easy. Okay, so your fabric pieces are your main fabric and two accent fabrics. This one is, here's the fold on this side, and it's 27 inches in length is what you need. So measure out 27 inches. This smaller fabric right here is 3 inches by the width of the fabric. And here's the fold. And then this one is 9 inches. And this is of the width of the fabric. Now just remember 3, 9, and 20. 3, 9, and 27. And actually you can remember as 3 times 9 is 27 as well. Easy for you to remember. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, and I've already, of course, got this pre-cut. I'm going to line up all my fabrics. I want them exactly to be on the folds, because I want them all to come out when I kind of square everything up. I want them to all come out the same length. And then what I'm going to do is I've got some salvage edges over here, so I'm going to go ahead here. And actually, let me turn this one over. I need to be able to see the white when I trim this up. See how I've got that right there? I need to make sure I'm trimming it off. Okay, so I've got them all lined up. I like to put my fold on the left side. It doesn't matter because I'm right-handed. That's why I do that. I am going to grab my ruler, and I'm just going to kind of square this up, and I've already got the bottom of my fabric already all trimmed up, so I'm just going to be able to use the bottom of my fabric, and I'm just going to square this up. And let me grab my rotary cutter. I'm using my Fiskars rotary cutter. Hold your ruler down really well so you can make sure you're getting this all cut. And then when you get up to where you're up here to where you need to move your ruler up. If you have a mat long enough, then you're doing good. But my mat's not that long. It's only 24 inches. So keep it as easy, straight as I can. Now I've got it all squared up, ready to roll. Okay, so now let me tell you what is next. Okay, so the next step, what we're going to do is I'm going to take the 3-inch fabric and open it up. And I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to press it down. So I'm going to take this over to my iron. I'm going to press it all the way down, okay? So let me just get this pressed and I'll show you the next step. I have got our smaller piece ironed in half. As you see, the wrong sides were ironed together. And that's the way you want to have this. Now, the next thing that we're going to need to do is we are going to, let me see if I can move some of my stuff over here. I'm going to move my sewing machine just a little bit. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our other two pieces, and hopefully you're seeing this. See if I can turn it just a little bit. You're going to take the 9-inch piece, and you're going to lay it where the pretty side is up. Got a little bit more stuff in my way over here because this takes up space. Okay, so I've got my piece. This is my 9-inch piece. The pretty side is up, and I'm going to have this lined up on my table. And I know it's hard for you to see the whole thing. Let me see if I can move this up just a little bit. Okay, so I've got my long piece. Now I am going to take my other piece and I am going to put it right sides up. And then I'm going to make sure I line it up with the edges. Make sure you get it nicely lined up. It's hard for me to, when I don't have enough space to line this all up. Okay, and I think what I'll do so it doesn't move, because I want that under piece to stay, I'm gonna put a little pin in here, because I want this to stay exactly on the edge of the underneath fabric. That way then I can line up the rest. Okay. So I've got my fabric. I'm gonna line this all up the best that I can. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, got my fabric there. Make sure you got that all lined up nicely. It helped just putting those two pieces together. Okay, now what I will do is I'm going to take my top piece that I already ironed and the raw side, which is the side that's open, I'm going to put it up toward the edge and I'm going to line it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pin this one too. On this fabric, I just lost my pin. There it is. Have that totally lined up. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to pin these together. And then I'll show you what the next step is. The neat thing about this pillowcase is your seams are all going to be hidden. That is the awesome part of this. Okay. And keep on pinning. Everything stays, all the raw edges are at the top. They're going to stay together. And this is the time-consuming part, but you want to be patient with this. You want it to turn out nice. If you don't sew, I want you to see how easy this pillowcase will be. You might want to start sewing. And if you do sew and you don't make these, you might want to make some of these once you're done. Okay. Close enough there. Now I've got my whole top, the whole raw edges are at the top. Now, next thing you're going to need to do, and I'm going to move you back a little bit. I want you to be able to see this. You're going to take the long part of your fabric and you're going to start rolling it up. First time I saw this done, I thought, oh my goodness, what a wonderful, neat idea. You're going to roll this up and you're going to see that underneath. And then you're going to have this all rolled up, just the center part. You're going to take the under fabric or this 9-inch piece and bring it up. And you're going to pin it with the top of your other raw fabrics, or the raw edges. So go ahead and make sure you pin well. You want to make sure this all stays nice and straight. Okay, so I'm going to pin all of these. I thought about making these the other day, and I thought, you know what, that's a good idea. I'm going to make Christmas pillowcases. Okay, you want to make sure that you have these as the edges as flush as you can and straight as you can. Keep that rolled up part in there. Half the battle is cutting and pinning, y'all. I promise you. There's a new Hallmark movie coming on, y'all, tonight at 7. If you're watching Hallmark today, it's a Candace Cameron one. I love those. Okay. Okay, that's what it's going to end up looking like. So now you see everything is rolled up inside. Now I'm going to take it to my sewing machine, and I'm going to sew a seam all the way down, back stitching at the beginning and the end. Okay, so I am at my sewing machine, and I am going to take my fabric that I rolled up all together, and I am going to start stitching the first seams down. I want to make sure you're seeing what I'm doing. Make sure all of your seams are along the raw edges are nice and straight. Make sure you reinforce at the beginning and the end. And try to sew as straight as you can. Use my down feature. Make sure you're not sewing that piece that you rolled up inside, because you'll have to start over. I'm using a 2.5 stitch length and just regular cotton fabric and cotton thread. Good old one. And I'm just using a regular old sewing needle. I didn't change my needle for anything. Okay, make sure to keep that part in the back. I'm just making sure that underneath is pushed back. You don't want anything to catch. Hope everybody had an awesome Thanksgiving weekend. Back to work tomorrow. It's going to be a short week for me though. I'm off again Friday so I can make sure I have everything ready for my craft fair. I'm excited about it, and you know, I'm also kind of ready for it to be over to see how I do. I hope that I'll do well. It's been well advertised, so I'm grateful for that. In fact, we drove past where the craft fair is yesterday, and there are signs everywhere. So, and it's all over Facebook. It's been shared through the city sites. So, I'm hoping, and usually, I mean, this is a norm every year. They do the same one, so I'm hoping that we get lots of traffic. And I already know where my spot is. The lady that heads it up, I think because I signed up for my booth all the way back in August. I told her I specified what kind of space I wanted, and she said I could have the same spot I had last year, so that excited me. Okay, we're rolling up to the end. I know this took a little longer. I just want to make sure that everything was caught in here just perfectly. Because you're going to have to do some tugging on this. I'm going to trim off my threads. Everything is sewed up, all rolled up inside. And now I'm going to show you what the next step will be. Okay, so now what you need to do is you're going to look at the end. You can see all the pretty fabrics up inside. And you're going to take it and you're going to pull this out. You're going to pull it through the tube. And that is how this first seam is going to be hidden. That's because you've sewed those and now we're pulling it inside out. So the first seam that you will have will not be shown. It's awesome. Okay. And look at that, y'all. This fabric, or all the fabrics, let me get that. Look, all sewed together, y'all. I'm gonna take this to my iron. I'm gonna press this down, and I'll show you what's next. Okay, so I've got my hole in press. Look, no seams are showing. Isn't that awesome? Now, we're going to sew the body of our pillowcase now. But we want to use the French seam method. So what you need to do is, instead of doing it like this, where you're folding them together first, you're going to take it, you're going to fold together where the wrong sides meet. You're going to line up this up here at the top. You want to make sure you're lining up your seams here, okay? And then we're going to sew a seam all the way down and close this part up. So let me get you over to the machine. I'll show you what this step is. Okay, so now it's time for us to sew our seams together. I have the pretty sides facing out. And I am going to start at the top. I would say start at the top so that way you can make sure your edges here are even. You want to just make sure everything is even. You're going to start at the top, reinforce at the beginning and end, and you're going to sew this all the way down. Make sure your little decorative pieces over here are folded down. And I'm gonna sew this on both sides. I love this already. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Okay, I didn't pin all the way down here, so just make sure you keep this all lined up. Side. Then you're going to turn it. You're going to sew the bottom. Now it looks like we have a good pillowcase, but we're not done yet. Because the raw edges are on the pretty side. We don't want that. Or back stitch, so that way your seam is sealed in there. Okay, so now as you see, we have the raw edges out here. The ugly side is sticking out. The next thing you need to do is turn your pillowcase inside out. Let me trim that. You're going to turn your pillowcase inside out and press it down so you can have this seam inside nice and flat. So I'm going to press it and show you our last step. Okay, got my pillowcase turned inside out where the ugly side is on the outside. And I'm going to now sew a seam around where we sewed. I'm going to sew another seam and I'm going to go in about 1/4 inch. You can trim off this salvage edge if you'd like to down to 1/8 inch. But I'm just gonna feel my way through and not worry about trimming that. So I'm gonna go in about, this one is gonna be about 3/8 inch. And I'm just gonna follow it all the way around. Make sure you have your edges nice and flat. And you're going to back stitch at the beginning and end. Keep it nice and flat. Follow your 3/8 inch guide. I'm just going to go all the way around. This is how you make a French seam. None of the seams in this pillowcase are going to be shown because they're all hidden underneath. So this is the technique for a French seam. It's still on 3/8 inch. It's kind of over. Because I want to make sure the raw edges don't stick out of my seam. To the end. Use my down feature, and I'm on the home stretch for this last seam. I just want to make sure that I have this pulled really good. There we go. And we're coming to the end. How easy is this super cute little decorative pillowcase? You can also, if you wanted to put their name on it or something, that would be cute. If you have an embroidery machine, which I don't, that would be real cute. Or if you wanted to do iron-on letters, you can do that. Or just keep doing like this, and it's so cute. Okay, I'm gonna flip this inside out, and as you see, there's no raw seams showing already. You can see I've got it all sealed up. I'm gonna trim my threads off over here. I'm gonna flip this inside out, and y'all look, here goes our pillowcase. Christmas pillowcase. How sweet is this? Okay, I'm gonna get this all out, and then I'll show you what it looks like. I'm just making sure I get all my corners punched out. I love it. And y'all, watch this one. Here it is. It's our beautiful pillowcase. It's for a Christmas pillow to put on their bed. It fits a bed-sized pillow. And look how easy was that. It's 3 colors. The seams are all hidden inside. No raw seams at all. How sweet is that? Y'all, how cute. Okay, I think that, yeah, I'm going to make 3 more. I think I've got enough fabric for 3 more. If not, I'll make what I have, and that way I'm ready to give these to my grandkids. But so cute, huh? So, so cute. Anyway, I hope you like this. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you're going to give it a try. If you don't sew, this would be a great time to start. Yeah, and if you do sew, never made these before using the French seam method, now's the time to do it. So anyway, hope you like this. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye, y'all.